The Fujinon XF 16-80mm f4 is the one zoom lens you need for a Fujifilm X camera. There are other options of course, but none of those will give you what this lens can. But can you justify spending your hard-earned money on this lens? As a big fan of zoom lenses for travel and everyday photography, I may be a bit biased, but for my photography and budget, zoom lenses provide a great value and versatility. I use some amazing primes lenses as well, so can see that modern zoom lenses sacrifice a little image quality compared to primes. And I'm an especially big fan of zoom lenses that cover enough of a focal length range to potentially be the one lens to rule them all. The Fujinon XF 16-80 is built to the latest and greatest Fujifilm standard, including weather resistance. This is a very welcomed and arguably essential feature on zoom lenses with this range of focal lengths. The manual zoom itself is buttery smooth with a short throw. It's only 1/4 of the lens circumference, so you can quickly move between the widest and longest focal length. And that is quite a journey. The wide end starts at 24mm equivalent field of view and zoom ends at 120mm. That is a wide angle to short telephoto in under 1 second. Combined with constant maximum aperture of f4, this lens is already looking very versatile. Minimum focus distance of 35cm or about 1 foot means that even at f4 and on a crop sensor you can blur your subject background with ease. Just zoom in and get creative. The constant maximum aperture also means that the lens has a marked aperture ring, allowing for quick confirmation of your setting when bringing the camera from your hip to your eye. Simple things can make a big difference. And don't even try to use the manual focus ring. It's quite loose and therefore not very usable, but it doesn't matter one bit because this lens has linear motor driven autofocus, which is quiet and very fast. There is some focus breathing when zooming during video recording, so one needs to keep that in mind before framing the shot. What every photographer and videographer will appreciate is the impressive 6 stops of built-in optical stabilization. You can tell it's working and has impact even when using cameras with no sensor stabilization. Sharp images of static subjects at 1/30th of a second shutter speed are normal with this lens. And it must be even more impressive in combination with sensor stabilization in the Fujifilm X-T4 or X-S10 camera. I also should mention that the lens automatically detects when your camera is mounted on a tripod and adjusts or completely turns off the optical stabilization in order to help you take the sharpest possible image on a long exposure. Talking about image quality, I have nothing really to complain about. In those real-world situations where a zoom lens is used, you care much more about capturing the decisive moment anyway. But it's good to know that this lens delivers in this area as well. You can maybe stop down to f5.6 if you care about slightly improving corner sharpness, but that probably won't matter for most shots. The wide end will be mostly used for landscapes between f8 and f11 anyway, and long end for portraits with subjects mostly in the middle and nicely blurred background at f4. And now you're probably saying, this is all great and nice, but look how big this thing is and it must be heavy. No way I'm carrying this around. Well, at 440 grams it's not the lightest. You definitely feel its weight, and an additional grip on a smaller camera like the XE3 will go a long way in improving handling and comfort of use. But it's definitely manageable and a good trade-off for its build quality and versatility. And the same goes for the lens size as well. It's bigger, but it's not going to overpower even the small XE3. Length is more of a problem than diameter, but for this trade-off you get the 24 to 120mm equivalent zoom range, which is amazing for a do-it-all and always-on general purpose lens. Given all its features, the XF 16-80mm f4 zoom lens still comes at a reasonable price, especially when you wait for Fujifilm's seasonal discounts and cashbacks. So I think you can justify spending your hard-earned money on this lens, especially if you don't own any other basic zoom lens. And yes, you can get the smaller 18-55mm, bigger and heavier 18-135mm, and the huge but amazing 16-55mm f2.8 zoom lenses But this modern and well-balanced zoom lens will do more than the others in most situations. But if you are a die-hard minimalist looking for the smallest possible general purpose zoom lens with the fewest trade-offs, check out my review of the Fujinon XF 18-55mm f2.8 to 4.0, the only real-world competitor to the 16-80 f4.